Thursday, August the 18th, 2016. As the Olympics draw to a close, Gamescom is still going somewhat strong. This is Razzle, joined by Shake, for episode 27 of the Prattlecast.
What's Gamescom?
Gamescom is one of those, it's a games conference. Isn't this the one that goes on in Germany? I don't know. I think it is the one in Germany.
I don't have a damn clue what it is.
Well, it's a convention like E3, like PAX East, and so you get some gaming news and such, and
all the stuff I don't watch.
But you should, Shake.
Well, you know what? I keep up with what's important.
Well, actually, who was surprisingly absent from Gamescom this year?
Who?
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh, that makes me sick.
It makes me a little sick because they're supposed to release this game like early next year.
Yeah, it's not
So they're shutting down the forums. They're not showing up at conventions. They're not showing gameplay footage. This worries me. But you know what? I still love the original trilogy. And the good news is that EA might be releasing a remaster of the original trilogy. And I'm kind of excited, especially if it comes with all the DLC and if it's been optimized.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Oh, let's go right into it. Ooh.
Yeah, there's really not a whole lot to say about it. Other than I'm all for them remaking them, and I would want it to be with all of the DLC included.
I mean, there's really no other way to do it.
Yeah, because I don't want to go, now that I know that this is probably a thing, because they're going to do it. They're going to make a shit ton of money off this, because everyone's going to rebuy it.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody cares. I mean, if you're a Mass Effect fan, you're getting it, period.
True.
So, I mean, I'm not even I've never played the DLCs, never bothered to get them, so I can just get the remakes, and have my DLCs.
Yeah, that would be the way to do it, because I would imagine there'll be, updated graphics, maybe a few gameplay tweaks, but we'll see what happens. So far, there's no real news on it, but they've said it's very likely they'll be doing it, and I think that's very obvious.
Well, for a series that I enjoy, that I know you haven't really played, there's also talk of an Ezio collection coming to the PS4 and Xbox One. It's just going to have, I think, Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations, the Ezio games.
Oh.
And yeah, we're going to get them all remastered. I mean, it's not confirmed, but it'll happen. Because, again, it's another game series that has a huge amount of people that love it. And everybody loves Ezio. I think that's why most people played it. If people played it after Ezio, you were in the series for a different reason. But not a good one either, because the story died with him. Sorry. But the Ezio collection is in the talks, and I was trying to find more information on it today. But there's not a whole lot out there, but it seems like that might be a thing too. So I get my Mass Effect, get my Assassin's Creed.
Well, they've got
I'd be very happy.
I know Ubisoft also has their other game they're releasing soon called Steep. That's sort of it's an open world sort of sports game where you're on, I guess, snowboard type things, and you're going down mountains and you're competing against people online. I don't really know all the details about it. I was just watching the trailer. It looks like something that might be fun as just a casual experience. But
it instantly makes me think of snowboarding kids for the N64.
Oh, the good old days.
That's all I ever think about is snowboarding kids, the big-nosed, weird-looking characters that you would just snowboard around these weird levels with. Is that what I get to do online now? Is just look like a real person and, fuck people up with my snowboard?
Well, I saw the trailer, and on one of the characters, he had, most of the characters look normal, but then I guess you, earn things you can wear, because this one character looked like a deer, and he had, antlers, and he had, a deer head, and he was... So...
Friendship! I want to be that guy!
But since it's Ubisoft, you're kind of I don't know if this is going to be good or not, because they're always pumping out a new game every year, and this one looks probably rushed, like most of their products have been.
Well, with the Assassin's Creed games, that's what they did. They pumped out a game a year.
Yeah, but I mean, they just released The Division not long ago, and now they're releasing...
I don't know how well that went.
Yeah, now they're releasing another open world multiplayer game. So it's just nonstop. It's okay, they've become the new... what was it, Activision? Before they went under? Wasn't Activision?
Did they? Was it? It was. Oh god, I think it was.
Or am I
was
thinking of some? I may be thinking of somebody else, because I'm thinking of whoever was with THQ, or not THQ, but yeah, THQ.
Yeah.
Because wasn't it Activision that had THQ? I don't know. I just know they sold off all these.
I feel like you're right.
And I think they sold off THQ. And yeah, it had to be because THQ used to do the wrestling games, and now 2K has them, so they bought that. And I think THQ's Saints Row series went to another developer.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Well, I know Ubisoft said with the Assassin's Creed games, I would like to think they understand that they've ruined them. If anybody has a different opinion, that's fine. I don't care. I mean, it's just I think the games went to shit because they had such a great story set up through all these games, and then they just kind of like pissed on it. Like they didn't give a shit. They pissed on it. They're like, oh, we're gonna start doing pirates and we're gonna do all this other shit. And now they decided they're not going to pump out another Assassin's Creed game until 2017.
Hmm.
They're going to wait. They're like, yep, we're going to wait. And it's going to take place in Egypt. So I was like, okay, thanks for waiting and taking your time. But why in Egypt?
But wait, when,
Like,
when when was the last one that came out?
it was within the past year. They did some,
Because like 2017, that could be like just a couple of months from now.
it better not be.
I mean,
It better not be because I can't deal with it anymore. Like
no.
they're so horrible. And I don't want like the Assassin's Creed was, it took place in it was a very at least with the Ezio storyline, it was like you followed this Italian family who I think some of it, if not a lot of it, was like historically accurate to stuff that went on. And you followed this family through all this stuff that happens, and then all of a sudden the series is like, nah, we're good. We don't want to do it anymore. Like I get it, like you have to grow away from characters and stuff, but you could have just why'd you do this to me?
I'm
But
I'm not a big fan of that series. The only ones that I even played.
granted, you didn't give it a chance.
What?
You didn't give it a
I gave it a
chance.
chance. I played the first one.
No.
I also played parts of the one from the Revolutionary War. I played parts. No, I actually played the most I ever played of one was Black Flag, and I
Mm-hmm.
loved Black Flag. That's the only one I ever played that I was like, oh yeah, this is a fun game. And it's not because of the Assassin's Creed elements. In fact, I went out of my way to get rid of as many of those elements as I could. For instance, I went and bought a character skin that made my character look more like a pirate, so I didn't have that Assassin's Creed hood on. And I spent most of my time at sea shooting and taking pillaging forts as well as other ships and looting them. Because the cool thing about that game is like I would come up to this fortress out in the middle of the lake, so it's on its own little island, and there'd be all these ships
Mm-hmm.
around it, and one by one I'd go after each ship, and as soon as you're getting close to those ships, you're going into this. It's still open world, but you're in the middle of a ship battle. So you can like go and man the cannons, or you can try to jump over onto the enemy ship and try to board them and attack. And it's all taking place, and there's no like cuts or anything. It's all you deciding how you want to play that. And once you finish with all the ships, you can go take over the fort. And when you get to the fort, you can just get off your ship, start running around, pillaging, looting, killing, and just murdering people. And you've got your pirates and their pirates. And it's just a big pirate game. And that's what I loved about it. So I don't really care for the Assassin's Creed elements. That's pretty much what I did in Black Flag. And I did it for long hours. So,
No, I really enjoyed the. I haven't played through Black Flag. Like I've watched the beginning of it and then I just walked away. But I enjoyed the character that we had, Ezio, because you follow him through three of the games, and his whole family. But I think my favorite one I ever did was Brotherhood because the assassin, because I'm not a sneaky person. I'm not good at that. Like I'm not good at stealth games. Like I could never play Hitman. Like I'm not good at those kinds of games. I'm just not good at being sneaky. I'm horrible. So like I didn't really care so much for the assassin things in it. So I was mostly a sword fighter through most of the game. Like I would sword fight unless I had to be sneaky. But I think my favorite thing, at least with Brotherhood, was I got to rebuild Rome. Like it looked like shit when you first start the game, and like you start rebuilding all these establishments and making everything look nice, and you can decorate your assassin to look super sexy and have like this whole group of assassins with you that go on missions for you and stuff and help you out when you're in battles. And I really liked that. The first Assassin's Creed game does not do the series justice, and I don't think. I mean, Black Flag is probably fun, but you don't get like the real Assassin's Creed from that.
but I mean, you get a great pirate game. In fact, the best pirate game I've
Right.
ever played, like whenever you're sailing on the open sea, your crew will start singing pirate songs and stuff like that. It's a very fun game, and I spent most of my. I didn't do any stealth stuff. I just took out my swords or my pistols or whatever and went at it
Yeah.
and just
I was
had a
never
ball.
good at it. I always used the guns and stuff or whatever. Because you work closely with Leonardo da Vinci throughout the Ezio
I thought you were
games.
about to say
He,
Leonardo DiCaprio. I was like, what?
yeah, it's like yeah, DiCaprio was there. Weird, huh? No, but Da Vinci helps design a lot of your stuff, which is pretty cool. He's like a really good friend through the game. So I'd just use all his little creations and like be testing out all his hang gliders and shit like that. That was a lot of fun for me. But now our new one's gonna be in Egypt. I don't know what we're gonna do in Egypt, but I'm getting caught up on the series. I'm playing through all of them again, and actually gonna go through the ones that I didn't play, like Black Flag and the one that takes place in Boston that I have no interest
Oh,
in.
the Revolutionary War one. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was three. Wasn't that Assassin's Creed 3?
no,
I think that's three.
maybe I don't know. I guess it could have been because I think 4 was Black Flag, but
Yeah, because there's one, two, Brotherhood, Revelations, three, Black Flag.
yeah, and it was
Wasn't that it? After Black Flag, then they made some weird like PS Vita
yeah,
shit
they've
for
made
the
some like
Black
little
Flag.
games like the one in China and that kind of thing. But I played the Revolutionary War one up until the point that you get to the first little city. So I did not play much of it. At first I thought it was very interesting, but then when I got to the open world part, I just kind of got bored. And I was talking to somebody else years ago after I had finished doing that, and they said, "Yeah, I started the game, but I didn't get very far." And we compared notes, and it turns out we stopped playing the game at the exact same point. Like we
Wow.
had the exact same experience playing it. Like we both were like really into it in the prologue, and then suddenly you get to this open world, and it's like, And I can't.
So this isn't the game that I was just playing. Cool.
I think I was into it because I'm really into like colonial type of warfare games. So I've been playing a lot of Total War Napoleon lately. I love the line combat and that kind of stuff. And it wasn't that kind of a game. I didn't really know what I was buying, but I heard it was taking place in the Revolutionary War. So I was naturally thinking that it was going to be something where I had some influence and I could choose a side and I could help and fight and stuff. But it wasn't that at all. So. I was very disappointed.
Don't you fight alongside like George Washington and shit?
I didn't get far enough. I met
That's what it showed in the commercial, but I don't know if you could pick or
I
not
can
with
I
that. I
can
don't think you
I
can.
can confirm that you meet Ben Franklin very early on. Like very early on, like right
Is
after
he
the
cool?
prologue. I mean, I don't remember. I can't really express how bored I was with this game when I put it down. It just what it didn't have the ability to draw me in. Like Black Flag, I didn't care about the story. I barely paid attention to that. I was only playing it because I knew that when I got a ship, I knew some of the things I could do because I was watching a YouTube video. It's like, okay, I'm buying this game. And sure enough, as soon as I got my ship, I ended up putting about 20 or 30 or something hours just sailing around, looting ships, attacking forts, playing the pirate game I always wanted to play because I love pirates, but they've always been given a shaft when it came to games. Like some games came close, but this game, in my opinion, Ubisoft, they should just make another pirate game and just develop a pirate game similar to Black Flag, but more evolved and more involved, and make it multiplayer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily what they're doing with like Sea of Thieves. I don't know who's making that game. I think it's Rare who's making that game. Uh,
I thought Ubisoft was making that.
Not unless maybe they're publishing it. I don't know, but I think Rare is involved, and I know it's an
Mm.
Xbox exclusive. But I was watching some live streams of that from Gamescom, and it looks like it might be fun. It's a 5-player game, except, well, technically it's more than that. It's 5 versus 5, that kind of thing. Look,
Eh.
it looked neat. It looks funny and cute, but I don't think it would hold my interest for very long.
Yeah, it's probably like you say 5v5v5. I'm like no.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
I'm not against it. Like I can do 4 versus 1. I can do 4 versus 4. Like numbers versus numbers. But you're adding all these different groups. Like just let me be a pirate, man. Like let me just chill. Like let me do my pirate business.
And
Like I don't need this.
one
I don't
game
need it.
that's kind of been getting iffy in the review category as well as the public reception has been this No Man's Sky game
Oh
that
Jesus.
came out on PS4 and PC.
Yeah.
And I only bring it up because the situation sort of reminds me of when Fable launched, like the original Fable with Peter Molyneux, and how he had basically talked this game into being something it wasn't. I mean, if you had listened to this man like I did back then, he was promising us a game where you started off as a child and you ventured out into this open world, and all these decisions you were going to make are going to have a huge impact on everything that happens later. And so, if you turn left instead of right, you're going to have a completely different experience. And and if you've played Fable, you know that's bullshit. That is nothing. That game is
Yeah, no, that's not Fable.
that game is so linear. So you can imagine like my gradual disappointment upon going out, buying that game, bringing it home, putting it in the system, playing it, and my gradual realization that I had
That
so
everything you thought was a lie. Like it's and that's exactly what happened with No Man's Sky
yeah.
because that game was absolutely hyped to the point where like cuz I didn't want to be excited about it. I never wanted to be excited about No Man's Sky. I was like I don't really care about it. And then the more like the closer it got, I was like this is I want it.
Yeah.
Cuz I thought it was going to be something completely different. And the best way I have heard No Man's Sky described is that it is a vast and beautiful ocean that is 2 feet deep. That is No Man's Sky. It is just, you don't, even though you explore endless amounts of planets, you don't feel like you're doing anything. It's just, it's one of those games like I was watching someone play it. I watched a bunch of people like start it for their first time just to see people's reactions, and everyone's really excited. You know, you're making a bunch of money, you're finding stuff, like maybe you get to find something new and name it. But then, like, you see after a couple hours, everyone's like, well, what now? Like, what do I, what am I doing? Like, and I've noticed everybody I've watched play it has not played it again. Like, I've not seen many people put more than 20, 30 hours into it. Like they'll play it for a couple days and then they're done.
I think it's probably like a poor man's version of Elite Dangerous, which I love Elite Dangerous, but to give you an idea, um, No Man's Sky. I, I remember when I first heard about the game because I was really excited. Like when they first showed it off, I believe his name's Sean Murray, the guy who kind of was running, I think it's called Hello Games or something like that. And I remember this guy because every time he took to the stage, he seemed very timid, very very nervous about being on a stage, and so you felt like you could relate to this guy. He was a very relatable guy, and he would get up on the stage and he would talk a little bit about his game, his little game, and he'd show it. Well, apparently, some people have gone back and they found that he was misrepresenting a few things, including the fact that apparently on one of these, he had in his hands the controller as if he was playing the game. But people have gone back and looked at the footage and realized he wasn't pressing any buttons, and so they think that it was like a pre-rendered video that he was actually watching instead of actually playing the game real time. Um,
Wow.
but he made a lot of promises that haven't been delivered yet, including multiplayer. There's really no multiplayer in this game. The closest thing it has to multiplayer is that if you name a planet or a species, it will go to the server, and other people who encounter those things, it will be called that. So if you're first to that,
Yes.
that's their multiplayer. Whereas
That's as multiplayer as it gets. Because I remember they would say, I remember the last thing that was ever said about multiplayer was, oh yeah, you'll be able to see other players. You just won't know that they're other players.
yeah,
And I'm like,
yes,
well, how am I not going to know? They're going to be doing the same shit I'm doing.
which the way they word that, if that's true, that just kind of seems sleazy because it's like they know they're full of shit
Yeah.
because
It's a because I was like, wait, what do you mean I'm not like I? It's multiplayer, so that makes me think I can play with my friends and travel with my friends and do stuff with them. But then you're saying I'm gonna see them, but not know that they're a player.
well, they were saying
Like,
they said yes, you could encounter other players, but it would be very rare because of how big the universe was. And so, like, you would encounter them, but you wouldn't necessarily see their gamer tag or something. So, some very smart people got together and they decided, hey, let's try to meet each other in the game. They went to the exact same planet, the same locations, and they realized they couldn't see each other. And
oh, they actually were able to get to the same planets and
yeah,
stuff.
they were. So, they got to the same planet, same location. Neither one of them could see each other. Because guess what? There is no multiplayer. So, it was an
Wow.
outright lie. Um, and that's not the
I
only
don't think they expected people. You know what though? I think they thought they couldn't expect people to do that. But you have to realize this is a community that's gonna find something wrong with your game.
yes.
If you tell us your game has something, we're gonna be like, we're gonna figure out if it does or doesn't. And you're gonna have a bunch of nerds come together and figure out that you're full of shit. So to think that you can say that and that we're not gonna turn around and be like, Really? Well, let's find out.
And
Like, that's
but
crazy.
they promised other things. They said you could go attack fleets and destroy fleets. Apparently, you can't do that. You could hack doors. You can't do that.
No, you can't do any of that.
So yeah, I say it's a poor man's Elite Dangerous because Elite Dangerous is very much an open sandbox game, but I feel like it's much more interesting than No Man's Sky. For starters, graphically, it's very impressive. The fact that it has VR makes it very immersive. The fact you have voice commands makes it just beautiful. The controls in the ship are absolutely phenomenal. I imagine with No Man's Sky, it's probably very simple because you have to use a controller, whereas Elite Dangerous is best played when you have like a really high tech joystick. And so, yeah, I think these two games are vastly different, though, and in the way they approach things. Also, hey, Elite Dangerous has multiplayer, so
I don't think
uh,
No Man's Sky looks that amazing
I
either.
don't think it does based on what I've seen. It looks kind of like
Yeah.
a lot of people have compared it to Colonial Marines, the way that Gearbox Software had basically shown off a pre-rendered footage that was not in the game. It was all bullshit, and they showed it at a convention just before the game launched. And they were like, yeah, this is in game. Well, it wasn't. It was a complete lie, a fabrication. And people need to start holding these cats accountable. Because I don't care if you're new to the scene or not. I mean, if you're promising people shit, then you need to deliver on it, or else you're just another Peter Molyneux. And that's not what the industry needs. I mean, Peter Molyneux, very genius developer. Don't get me wrong. The guy's a fucking brilliant man. But he was a PR nightmare. And I have a feeling Sean Murray might go down that same route. I'd like to believe this was uh, just a one-time mistake, beginner's shit, you know? I mean, he's new. He had a lot of
Right.
shit thrust on him. He had a small team, and maybe he didn't know what he was doing. Maybe he speaks a little too much. That was the other thing he said. He was just like a week or two ago. He said, "Yeah, there will be no paid DLC for this game." A week later, well, maybe that was a bit too rash. Now that the game's out, now all of a sudden, oh, well, we might have some paid DLC.
Yeah,
Now
we
that he
might
sold the
need to
game.
do that now. We think that might be in our best interest now.
And can I just and not even on the topic of this, but something that really pisses me off is how games have basically doubled in price for consoles with the
Yeah.
evolution of the season pass.
Yep.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Some season passes make sense, but this was back when they were like $20 at most. Now they're like $50 for a fucking season pass.
Yeah, and then you paid the $50, $60 for the fucking game too.
Like, take for example Fallout 4. I did not
Hmm.
buy the season pass, and I'm glad I didn't because looking at the offering, because they didn't even tell you what was going to be included. They were like, "Well, we'll let you know later on down the road what's going to be included. Just buy the season pass for $50."
Just buy it. Just spend your
Or
money.
actually, I think it was actually cheaper for a while. Then they increased it to $50. So I want to make sure I'm getting that right. But yeah, it's basically bullshit. I mean, I've looked at what they're offering with that, and I'm like, eh. I mean, you're better off just getting the game on PC, getting some good mods for it, and just
Yeah.
enjoying it that way. Don't fuck with this. And Battlefront's no better. Don't get me wrong. $50 for a season pass for Battlefront. Give me
It's not worth it.
give me a break.
I mean, that game's fun. It's a fun game. It's not worth me spending over $100 for fucking content.
And
It's not worth it. I'm spending over $100 on one game. That doesn't seem. No.
But don't get me
There's no
wrong.
reason for
There
that.
there is a game series I do continue to buy that season pass on, and that's those wrestling games every year. I do. I admit it. I
Well,
completely
that's your
admit it.
shit. I
You
don't
know,
blame you for that. I don't fault you for this,
I like
Brazel.
having like the older wrestlers because they'll release these packs later on. Like this last year was phenomenal. And that's the other thing. 2K Games, when they took over the WWE license, turned this game series around. Under THQ, that game series was going downhill. Under 2K, it has been getting better and better and better. Their roster size is through the roof. The graphics are through the roof. The gameplay elements get improved every year. What a concept. And last year alone, they had a lot of older guys who I never expected to see in a video game ever, including guys like Earthquake and Typhoon from the good old days. And then they had great tag teams like the Outsiders and oh my god, I can't even think straight right now. But they had some great ones. They had some great ones. Oh, Harlem Heat, that's one. So all of these great tag teams of the past, and even the Bushwhackers were in there. So yeah, I do give them money for season pass, but I feel like those guys are passionate about what they do. I don't have any guilt over it. It's my money. I'll do it. But I feel like a lot of season passes aren't worth it. It's bullshit, especially now that they're charging full price of a game to get it.
Yeah, I think the most I've ever pumped. I've never bought a season pass for anything, because I've never found a
I
need.
don't blame
But I think the most money I've ever pumped into a game is World of Warcraft.
you. Yeah.
And because I would buy like pets and stuff because they used to donate like there used to be pets every year or when disasters happened or holidays or for different charities you'd buy a pet or amount and like half of that would go to like the Red Cross or something else. I used to buy all that stuff. I'd tell myself I was doing it for the Red Cross, but I
Like,
really just
I
wanted
was just
the
about to
fiery
say.
kitten.
I was,
Yeah, like I wasn't doing it for the fucking Red Cross. Like no, it just like I could say people, oh yeah, I donated to the Red
I was
Cross.
like, who
Yeah.
are you trying to kid right
Like,
now, chick?
I'm not kidding anybody. I'm a piece of shit. So I would get all that stuff, but I played WoW for 10 years. So what is the subscription for that? It was like 15 a month.
It was yeah, it wasn't too bad
Yeah,
actually.
it was $15 a month, but for 10 years.
Yeah.
I spent that on World of Warcraft, bought a bunch of shit outside of the game, like bought mounts and stuff all the time. And then I walked away. I can only imagine that's a lot of money. Like just someone do the math because it's a lot. And then I jumped into Final Fantasy Online and I did the same fucking thing. But I really only have ever spent money, like outrageous amounts of money on games when it's MMOs, and I've only done that with two. So I feel pretty good about my spending with games. I haven't done too bad.
And and don't get me wrong, I know why a lot of these companies do it. It's they sell the season pass so that they can keep the developers employed for the year and generate new content. It's just that sometimes the content doesn't really match what I feel the price is. Because if you're charging full price of a game, you need to have a full game's worth of shit that you release that year that's good. Instead, most of these companies don't do that. Like I'm looking at Fallout
It's
4.
usually
Like I'm
trash.
looking at Bethesda right now. I'm thinking, what are you doing? Like what
Hmm.
what are you doing? Because I love Bethesda. They make phenomenal video games. But this $50 season pass, no. What is no? Mm-mm. I don't even know if they have an expansion in there. I think it's just like toolkits and shit they're releasing. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's what I was reading when I'd read about it a little while ago with some of the stuff they were coming out with, and I'm like, that doesn't seem worth money.
But don't get me
Why are
wrong.
people spending their money?
Fallout 4 is a great game. I love Fallout 4, but I'll never buy the season pass. No.
There's no reason to. But to go back to what you were saying with No Man's Sky and them making
Yeah.
promises about shit and how they shouldn't do that. It's interesting because you have people that are freaking out about No Man's Sky and how they made all these promises they couldn't keep. And I'm sorry, but I think about this constantly. I just think about the Isle. Because if you've ever seen the developers of the Isle, they don't make a single promise. They don't give a fuck what you think. And the thing is, I wish I was exaggerating, but I'm not. They don't give a shit what anyone thinks about their game. They don't care. Like if they want your opinion, they make a specific little spot in Steam for you to ask and they say we're not going to answer you, but we will read it. And they barely ever do that. They'll just say, "Hey, we have this thought. Tell us what you think." And they've only done that a handful of times because they know what they want to do. They're never going to make a promise. I've never once like been watching a development stream or reading updates where they've been like, "Oh yeah, we're definitely going to have this," and then they don't do it. They do what they say they're going to do, and if they don't, but the thing is, when you have developers that are straightforward and are honest, you still have a huge group of angry, pissed off consumers who are like, "Well, you're being a piece of shit because I want this and you won't give it to me, and you told me you'd do this and it's not ready yet." And they're like, "Well, you just gotta
Well,
wait. This is what we want to do, and this is how it's gonna be done, and that's it."
I'm glad you brought up the aisle too, because I wanted to go into this anyway. But before I do, I want to address what you
I'm
said
falling in
there.
love again, guys.
And as far as the aisle, I've noticed like this whole new craze with gamers, and I feel that a lot of the times it's gamers feeling overly entitled to their ideas being worth the same weight as the developer's vision. Because when you
Yes.
buy the game, you know what you're entitled to? You're entitled to owning it. You're entitled to being able to play it. That's what you're entitled to. You're not actually entitled. Now you can, don't get me wrong, if you buy an early access game, then your feedback should be appreciated. And I feel like it is by the developers of the
It's
aisle.
appreciated when it's what's the word I want to I mean, because
When it
I'm sorry, but most of the feedback isn't good feedback. It's not valid feedback. When you give good feedback that's actually
well, no,
productive,
they
then yes, it's
were.
appreciated.
What I'm getting at here is on the forum. The developer even went on the forum and said, "Guys, listen, about the dinosaurs." He was asking for suggestions and input as to what types of things they could implement to make it more interesting to be the dinosaurs.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like you're entitled to give feedback. You're not entitled to stand up and say, "Hey, listen, the game needs to do this." This, and this, or I'm giving it a negative review with my 300 plus hours. And I'm glad you brought up the aisle because I want to go back to last week because we were talking about progression. I hadn't had a chance to
Oh my
really,
Atlanta,
I
Georgia,
hadn't, I
guys.
hadn't had a chance to really play through very much of it. And
Yeah,
so now
which we did promptly after.
I know, and I even said that during the podcast that I hadn't had a lot of chance to play, but and right after we finished that podcast, when we went into the game, they had already fixed a lot of the problems we had. One of them was the beginning stage of the carnivores. Right now, it's sort of got a placeholder. Everybody would spawn in as a carnivore. Your first tier is now the Dryosaur, and that has, in my opinion, greatly fixed the problem with carnivores spawning in and being griefers. And so we were talking about
Yep.
that last week. They've already fixed it. They fixed it within, I think it was technically already fixed when we were talking about it. And I also wanted to
Yeah,
say
technically, yeah.
that I'm actually enjoying the progression a lot better now than I was originally, now that I've had a chance to play it. So I wanted to say that, and I certainly don't want to be looked instead of the group of morons out there who are rating the game. These, like I said back then, like even last week, I said it's stupid to rate a game with a thumbs down if your options are thumbs up, thumbs down, and you've put in 400 hours. That is more time than I've put into most any game. I can't even think of a game I've put that much time into. Like I really cannot think of a game. Maybe an MMO, but at best maybe that. And if you've gotten that much fun out
Right.
of it and you're giving it a thumbs down in early access, because I was looking at it, it has like mixed reviews on the aisle. Mixed review.
I went through that the other day too. It was after you because you and I had been playing, and then you had left, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go do some reading. I was waiting to progress or something, and some of the negative reviews were people that had played for literally like point 0.8 hours,
Hmm.
and that pissed me off.
Yeah.
And then I'd see the people with that one guy with over 1,000 hours giving a negative review, and I'm like, are you fucking serious? But like I did not see negative reviews really from people that had played it for just a couple hours or anything else like that. But like the reviews I see from people with like less than an hour in that game or over 1,000 hours in that game, it fucking makes me sick
And
to read that stuff.
everybody has a right to their review. You know, you bought the game, you can review the product. Obviously, you should. But like I was saying, if you're one of these morons who has over 100 hours on your account, I don't even have 100 hours in this game. If you've gotten 100 hours out of this game
Neither do I.
and you give it a negative rating, then you, sir or madam, are a piece of shit, and there is no excuse for it. You've put in 100 hours of your life into this game, and you're giving it a thumbs down because you're a spoiled little brat. And I know the developers can't say this, but I can. You're a spoiled little brat. I don't care if you put money in this game or not. You're entitled to your opinion.
I
You're entitled to your review. But quite frankly, with 100 plus hours, you look like a
feel like the
you
developers have said
you
this.
look like a fucking idiot if you put in 100 hours inside of a fucking game that you don't even like. You know, the game doesn't look bad. You look like a fucking idiot. You're sitting here saying, "Oh yeah, I hate this game. I put a 200 hours in it. There's nothing to do after 200 hours."
And I'm like, oh great, well that was 200 fucking hours. Do you understand how much time you spent?
And don't get me wrong, I love the community. I do. There are a lot of wonderful people in that community. There are.
There is. There are just like in any community, there are players within it that are just horrible fucking
I'm just
people.
talking
But you're
about
gonna get that
I'm
everywhere.
talking about the idiots who are trying to hold the game hostage with these negative reviews. All they're doing is they're
Yeah.
hurting themselves, they're hurting the community, and they're hurting the game. That's all they're accomplishing. That's
Yeah.
it. You morons, you're going to steer people away from trying out the game, which could make the game more fun to have more players. You idiots with 200. And hey, and if you're one of those people who put in a good 10 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours and gave it a negative review, I'm not talking to you. I am not talking. You know what? You might have bought the game thinking it was one thing. And after your 10 hours or so, you're like, you know what? This game is legit not what I thought it was going to be. There's just not enough content for me.
Yeah, it's not for
I
you.
and a little bit. I mean, you could have read the description, which pretty much warns you against buying the game. But since you didn't, and you put in a fair amount, you gave it a negative review. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to any idiot who has over 100 hours in this game and gave it a negative review. That's who I'm talking to. I'm not talking to anybody else. Okay, everybody's entitled to their opinion. You're entitled to your review score, but some of you look like morons.
Yeah, I mean, I've officially put over 150 hours into the
Good
game.
Lord.
Yeah. Like I'm a big fan of this game. There are things that I haven't liked that have happened. There have been glitches where you can't even play it. And not once did it cross my mind to leave a negative review because you know what happened when I bought the fucking game? You know what happens every time you open the game? They thank you for purchasing and playing an early access fucking game and let you know that there will be problems and things will break. They let you know every time you open the goddamn game. There's never been a moment where I've played that game and found out something's broken or I'm glitching or I can't eat a tree that I'm like, you know what? Fuck these guys. I gotta leave a negative review because they're pissing me off.
You know what? I think the response to that, and I can already see the response. The response is going to be, well, yeah, I got 100 hours out of the game when it was fun, but then they changed something, and now the game's not fun anymore. And my response to you is this. You got 100 hours of fun out of a video game. You don't give that game a negative rating. If you
No.
can't give it a positive rating, don't rate it. Move on with your life. But you got something positive out of that experience. That developer put their heart, their blood, their sweat into that game, and you just shit on it after they gave you 100 hours of fun. So I have no respect for you. You're a piece of shit.
Well, the
I
thing
don't know.
is, I know there's things that they want to do that I'm not going to like. There's some things that they're implementing that I know I personally
Oh, same here.
don't want.
Same here.
Like, there's just things that I don't want. I think what they're doing is great. I think all their ideas are wonderful, and it's going to make a great game that's going to have something for everybody, and that's good. But there's things that they're doing that I don't want to play, but the beauty of it is I don't have to. I can choose not to be involved in those parts of the game. I can be like, fuck that. I don't really want to do that. I just want to do this. And even now, like, there's this one glitch going on right now where, the carnivores and herbivores are all dryosaurs right now, which is fantastic because we don't have this rush of austroraptors killing everybody, which was ruining it for a while because you were just dead constantly. Like, I think I died like a million times the first time I tried to progress. But the one thing with that right now is, I don't know if the glitch has been fixed, if there's been an update since this, but it wasn't fixed a couple days ago. But there was the dryosaurs, because they were marked as Dryo and then Dryo 2 for carnivore. But the Dryos, whether or not they're a carnivore one or not, can still talk in herbivore chat. They're considered a herbivore.
Yeah, they are. Because I was
Yeah.
I was actually in a herd with one of the Dryos, and there was a carnivore. And so he came back as his next tier just to hang out. I think he was Austro or Hera or something on his next tier, but he didn't cause any problems. He just came to kind of hang out.
Right, but
yeah.
that's the problem.
Yeah, but
I
I think that's gonna
those Dryos,
that will fix itself when compies get released. So I'm not.
Oh yeah, I mean they're gonna fix the issue because right now there's a lot of Dryos joining groups saying that they're herbivore Dryos, and then they level up, and then as carnivores they can find where your whole herd is with other carnivores.
Yeah, that's
and bum
true
rush
because
you.
I think they're still aren't they? I think there might even.
There's a technical issue where
Very
it's
true.
not kicking them out of your group.
Yeah, that's what
and
it
they
was.
can still talk in group chat. They can't talk in general chat to herbivores, but they can still talk in group chat. They can still see your avatars above your head.
Yes, that's true because I remember. Yeah, that's still there.
Yep, I had that happen to me the other night. I had multiple in my group, and I met up with I finally became a Diablo for my first time. Very exciting for me. And I met up with these stegos who were like, we won't join that group because those carnivores can track you. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, well, they're still in your group. And I didn't think that was possible. And I was like, shit. Well, then I'm leaving too.
Yeah,
and lo and behold, those carnivores all came back as juvenile Rexes and just bum rushed everybody.
Yeah.
And it was traumatizing. I was like, oh my god, my whole herd is decimated.
I mean, obviously
but like things like that are gonna happen though, and I'm okay with it.
I mean, that's the other thing I was mentioning is the developers are constantly keeping up with those things and they're constantly improving them and they're constantly fixing bugs. I have never seen a developer of an early access game who is that involved in their game and updating it and keeping the community informed. That person does amazing work, and no wonder they don't give a shit some of the time. No wonder, because you know what, they're doing all the work, they're doing all the heavy lifting, and they do phenomenal job. I know we were watching the Twitch stream just the other day and having a great time just watching.
Yeah, we were watching the Dondi.
Yeah, and it was just
Yeah.
fun watching them build this world and seeing what's coming and seeing some of these screenshots of, I'm actually somewhat excited about the people for the very first time now that I've seen a screenshot, and I'm just imagining like people making mods for Jurassic Park and just thinking about
Yeah.
how exciting the future looks right now with this game. But if you haven't played it, I recommend it if you like animal simulation games or if you like dinosaurs in any way or facet. If you enjoy Ark Survival Evolved, in my opinion, this is a better game. There
Yeah,
isn't as much to do technically, but there will be. And you, like I said, you're not going to find a developer who is this involved in their early access game. It's only $20. It was on sale a while back, but I think it's $20 again now.
it's $20 now.
Don't pay attention to the stupid reviews. And if you want to read the reviews, go read them and look at how many hours those idiots have inside of those inside of that game.
But the thing is, when I try to get people into this game, because people will watch me play it and they'll be like, "Oh, it doesn't really look like it's for me," and I'm like, "Well, here's the thing: I'm playing the game I want to play. You can play this game any way you want to play it. If you want to role play and just be a part of a herd and not talk to anybody and just speak in dinosaur sounds, you've got that. If you want to like hunt people and just fight groups all day, you've got that. You want to just explore a map and find, because there's like abandoned human places and stuff. There's all sorts of shit. This map is humongous. You can go around exploring if you want. The game is open for you to make it what you want it to be right now, because it is early access. They're still working on it, so you need to have a little bit of an imagination and just kind of have fun, because it can be really fun if you just like let yourself have fun and not try to make it be this game that it isn't. It's just you need to have a good time with it. And so many people are expecting it to be like this right away, like open world sandbox PvP craziness, and that's not how the game is set up. I find that the game, if you want to play it like that, which if you're a carnivore, you're always hunting, you're always looking. If you're a herbivore, you're kind of just, it's a waiting game. But I enjoy the waiting game because I like the tension. And I find that the game relies heavily on tension.
Yeah.
Which I found out last time I played, because I was actually scared again for the first time playing it in a long time. I was like, shit, I don't know where they are. And we were surrounded by raptors, like they were all in the woods all around us. And it was like, oh my God, I'm in a movie. But the game's a really great time, and you just have to open yourself up to let yourself have fun with it. Like, it's early access, enjoy it, like be a part of a game that's growing and changing, and it's a really good time. I fell out of it for a little bit when they were going through some issues, but boy am I in love all over again. Ooh, it's crazy. I fell in love again. I didn't think I would. But I did, and they like implemented progression. I had a little issue with that, and now I'm fine with that too. I'm like, oh, progression's fine.
When it comes to the owl, what's the number one thing you're looking forward to the most next?
Personally, I'm looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to nesting. The nesting and breeding, I'm really looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also looking forward to the implementation of skill trees. So that even though we might all be the same dinosaur, we don't all have the same skills.
Yeah, that would be good.
And I would like to go back to having, which I'm sure we will, be able to customize our skins again, have each look different, rather than them kind of choosing it for us. I'm sure that will come back because we had it, so they will give it back to us.
Here's the thing. They also mentioned they're going to support mods, and I know there'll be like mod skins as well that you could probably use too. So
people have been making them already for months, just waiting.
Yeah. And
I'm like, you guys don't even know if that's the final model. Hold on.
I don't even need to tell you what I'm looking forward to most, because I think you already know.
What do you want, Razzle? Tell us.
What, you don't know?
I'm just waiting for you to tell us.
I want compies.
Well, yeah.
That and the flying dino. I don't know if they're going to actually do the flying now. I was watching some of the footage they had on YouTube back when the people were playing on the test server with the flying dinos, and it looked really fun. Like, it just looked like so much fun to be able to fly.
I think it is coming. Because I've seen the flying dinos in the flesh. Like I've played on like they were on like the Atlanta server.
Yeah, I saw them on
Um,
YouTube, so I know what they
yeah,
look like. But yeah,
and I've been next to them. I don't think they'd have them out on the servers going out there like that if they weren't gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like these developers don't fuck around.
yeah, they know what they're doing. They're
Yeah.
we got people coming soon. We've got all these new functions. It'll be interesting to see how people adjust into the aisle.
Oh,
Seeing whether or not one group is more overpowered than the others, and seeing how they work together, and will people even cooperate with each other? And it'll be interesting to watch.
well, when we were watching the live stream that Dondi was doing, another thing I'm excited for that he mentioned in his stream is the idea that you can go in there as dinosaurs and destroy their
Yeah,
generators and break down their power lines. You can mess up their water systems so that they have to come out. Like people can't hide from you; they will have to leave in order to sustain themselves. Like they can't go without this electricity and all that stuff. They need it. So I like that he's thinking of those things because that's really cool to me that we can sabotage people because I don't see myself ever really playing a person.
you know,
I don't really want
all I'm
to.
gonna say is that you know what they should do. Like whenever somebody is clever enough to make this Jurassic Park mod where they have a map of Isla Nublar, I would like to like create a private server and just have that running and have like a bunch of AI dinosaurs and just go in there as Dr. Ian Malcolm and play a Jurassic Park game. I think that would be wonderful.
It's gonna happen. That'll be a thing because when even if you watch the development streams, like he'll be playing audiobooks of
Yeah,
frickin' John
yeah, he
Hammond.
will.
Like he's really big into this. Like so they're totally open to all that, and that's a huge parts of the community are obviously into that. Like if you read the chat half the time, it's a bunch of dinosaur nerds talking about dinosaurs and shit. And like even when you're playing the game, that's what people are talking about, and it's really cool because I haven't seen that in other games like this. Like, you don't see that in Ark where people are just discussing dinosaurs and stuff
Well,
and
as the game
all
gets
that.
bigger and bigger, you'll probably see less and less of that. I think we definitely are inside of that enthusiast stage of game development, which I'm glad about. I'm glad to be in on it right now.
Oh yeah, I'm
Um,
happy that I'm in this at this point.
and I
Like I get to see this game in like it's a baby right now.
Because it's so funny
I
because
get
I remember seeing this game and this game just appeared on my like recommended list on Steam and I looked at it and it was like Dinosaur Simulation. I was watching the video and I was trying to figure out what was wrong with the game because I was wondering why Shake didn't have this game. And
right
so
me of all people,
I
the
sent
dinosaur
her
freak. I didn't even hear about
like
it.
I sent her a message. I was like, "Hey, have you heard about this game?" Because I was thinking she was going to say something like, "Yeah, but it's garbage," or "Yeah, but whatever." But no, she went ahead and bought it. Like the moment I sent it to her,
Did I buy it right
like you
away?
bought it like really fast, and like I bought it right after you, so I could try it too. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
very
So
fast.
I would have never even heard of this game if it wasn't for Razzle. And the moment you told me about it, yeah, I do remember because you when you told me about it, I looked at it and I was like, how the fuck did I not know what this was? And I was baffled that I, the dinosaur freak, had never heard or even seen like I've never heard anyone talk about it, never seen it anywhere. Like it was hidden in Steam. It still is hidden in Steam.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't pop up anywhere.
like even if you
Um,
type in on the search bar, if you type in the IS, the first thing that shows up is not the IS anything. It's this is the police shows up when you type in
oh my
THE
god.
space IS.
It goes by
I
popularity.
know,
It's got to be like
but
that because the Isle was a hidden gem, and like the moment I bought it, like I was addicted to it. The moment I said I was playing it every day for hours and hours, and I was like, how did I not know that this existed? This is insane.
and I think none of the video game sites that I know of really have talked about it. Like
I've never seen anything written
they're
about the
they're
game.
too busy talking about all these other indie games that usually fail, like No Man's Sky or
Yeah, I don't think I've seen. No, I haven't seen like interviews and stuff
maybe
done.
it's that the developer
Saying-
isn't in the know because I feel like this is like with the journalists and crap. I feel like it's a lot of kind of like a club where people like if you know
Oh yeah,
them you can get coverage. If you don't, then you're kind of left out in the wild. And since this guy probably doesn't know any of those people, hasn't gotten the coverage that he really deserves, and it's one of the reasons why we always talk about it on here. Just to keep it in the public.
I mean, and it's
This
a great game. I can't stop myself from talking about it. I just love it. So you guys are gonna always keep hearing about it and what's going on because I fucking love it. It's such a good game, and it deserves more attention than it gets.
But there's some other games coming out soon too. I figure we should hit on those. Have you looked at For Honor? Is that yeah? It's called For Honor.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen a bit of
It
it.
looks interesting. I don't know if I'm going to be any good at it.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I mean,
I was like, you know what? This looks really good, but can I be good at
but
it?
it looks neat. It's got like Vikings and samurai, and you're kind of just all fighting each other.
Oh yeah, we know who I'm gonna be.
I know, I know.
Yeah,
I'm probably going to be a samurai though.
figures. You'd be my enemy.
But I think there's another group in there too, like knights or something like.
There's a couple different ones, and a friend of mine actually got into like a closed beta for
Oh,
it.
nice.
Yep, and I don't know if they were supposed to, but they showed me
Well, it might
pictures
be the alpha. I think
of
they're in alpha state.
yeah,
So,
they're not they're not supposed to show you anything, but none of you know who this is, so eat it. They showed me pictures of like their character creation and stuff. Because I was like, show me some of the Vikings and stuff. Show me all these different characters. So they showed me the character creations of a couple different things, and it looks really beautiful.
yeah,
Like it's a beautiful game, and the attention to detail in the character creator is pretty cool. Like everything just looks really detailed. Like I'll be surprised if I see people with characters that look identical. Like it's one of those things where I'm like, oh,
oh my
okay, that
goodness.
looks it's real there it's really nice. Like it's really pretty.
Ooh, I'm going to make the most gorgeous
And I wish I could show you guys, but I can't.
Japanese
I can't show
samurai
you.
that you've ever
Yeah.
seen.
Oh yes. I'm gonna be a pretty Viking princess.
Oh my God.
But the Viking women are like massive. Like there are three of me, and I'm like, that's not what a person looks
Oh, so
like.
they let you
Stop
pick
it.
gender too in the game.
Yep, you can be a man or a woman.
Or is this not information we're supposed to be sharing?
I mean, I'm not supposed to know, but no one knows how I know. No one knows my name, so
That's
whatever.
right. We're not in the alpha, so fuck
Right,
it.
we're not in the alpha. I know someone who is, and none of you know who that is, so I can say whatever I want. I got a couple degrees of separation from this, so I'm free.
I mean, we didn't
But
sign
that's all I
it.
know. I mean, I didn't really ask anything because they were playing it for a while. They didn't have a long time to play it, but I just all I really wanted to see was the characters because there was no way for me to really see the gameplay.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, just let me see it all, and it's just really detailed. It's really pretty. So I'm excited to see the finished product. I don't know if it's a game that I'm actually gonna stick to, but I'm definitely gonna try it. Like I'm probably not gonna be great at it. It's really not a game I'm gonna be good at
Well,
more
I
than
mean,
likely.
I probably won't be good at it either because it's like it's going to be very competitive. Three
Yeah.
on three. I don't have a chance. But
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, I'm competitive. Don't get me wrong. But I just don't think it's going to be my area of competitive. Put me in the aisle, I can be competitive for days and
now
kick
I
ass.
think it's going to have
In
a
this game,
I
mm-mm.
think it's going to have a single player mode as well though, so I might pick it up for
It
that.
is.
So that might be something I could do. I'll play this
I
single
believe
player.
it's going to have a campaign of sorts.
I hope it's a good campaign and not like a short one they just tapped on at the end. But
It might be though. You never know, but I don't think so. I think it's going to look pretty nice. I think it'll be good.
of course, if they have three different factions, does that mean they have like three different campaigns you play?
Probably. I would hope so. I would hope I get to play each. Granted, with that said, they're probably not going to be long campaigns.
Yeah.
Probably like 6 to 8 hours tops, I would think. If you're gonna do something like that, they'd be short. And in this day and age, 6 to 8 hours is average. So I'd say that'd be good for a campaign.
It might be.
But there's I have an oldie I have to bring up.
Okay.
Because if you don't like The Last of Us, I have an issue with you. So for those of you out there who have not played The Last of Us, or have played it and want to get the remastered version, Amazon had a deal where you could get it for $12.95, but because it was so crazy and everyone started jumping on it, they upped it to $20. But The Last of Us remastered for $20 is an amazing fucking deal. I just saw this today on Amazon too. So if any of you haven't played The Last of Us remastered, go get it. I'm begging you. Please go get the damn game. It is amazing. And it's only $20. Like it is a $60 game.
Yeah, I think
And
I
that
got
game
it.
is still worth that much money. Go get it.
I got it.
For fuck's
I got it for even less than that. I think way back when, because I think it had like a $12.50 deal back then as well.
Yeah, and they tried doing it again now on Amazon that for $12.95, and people went absolutely apeshit, so they had to up it to 20. They were like, "Oh shit, we're going up," because it was selling like crazy. But $20 is still a great deal. Like people need to jump on that shit.
If you haven't played it, I would agree.
Right. I mean, even if you've played it, I bought it again remastered. I would think it would be worth it remastered. It's
I
gorgeous.
own I own the remastered and the original, but like I said, I got the remastered for dirt cheap, like really fucking cheap. So like I would never pay like full price for the same game twice.
Okay, but if you didn't own remastered, would you pick it up for 20 bucks?
If I didn't have it, would I get it for 20
Right.
bucks? I don't know. Well, actually, I
You
wouldn't. I wouldn't right now because there are so many big games coming out, including Friday the 13th is
Okay,
coming out.
I'm talking like if listen.
I already bought it when it was on sale, so of course I would
Okay.
buy it, but I would
See,
not
there
buy
you
it
go,
right now.
guys. Go get it. Go
So
get.
I mean, I already did buy it, so it's kind of
I wonder,
it's a
does the remastered come with the DLC?
yeah. It came with the DLC as
It.
well.
Yeah. So you get the DLC too, which is another like 6 7 hours of game on top of the game already, and it was a good DLC. Like it was worth it.
Yeah, it's a fun game, regardless. Like, if there's people out there who own a PS4 and have never played it, then what the hell are you doing?
What is wrong with you? Like it was. I've replayed it like 3 or 4 times too. Like it's a really good game. I still cry. I cry every time.
Oh my god.
It's really good. I needed to tack that in somewhere today because I think it's worth it for people that haven't played it or want to pick up the remastered because the remastered version is gorgeous. Not that it isn't already beautiful, but it's gorgeous and it comes with the DLC and it's $20 on Amazon. So you should just get it.
And since we're throwing out some other games, there's one I came across called War of Rights, which I'm following right now.
What is
It's a
that?
game based on during the period of the American Civil War, so it's very colonial based. But
That's your shit.
it's a multiplayer game, and it's all first person. And so basically, people have been right now. The only thing that's out is this alpha thing that you can go into, and it's kind of like you're at the campsite, and you can do target practice. The game looks gorgeous, like it looks really pretty. And so people have been getting together in groups and going out there and training like they would for colonial combat. So they're learning like the lines and the skirmishes and the attacks, and
Oh, that's
it's
cool.
very neat. And if you wanted to get in on that right now, the you can pledge any amount of money, but for $69, you can also get into the alpha as well as own the game and get that when it comes out, and as well as get into the beta. So those things all come with that $69 pledge if you do that. So yeah, it looks like a really fun game. I recommend people go check it out. There's a lot of video footage on YouTube for that. But if you're into that sort of thing and into that period in time or into colonial shit, then yes, go check it out and you might like what you see. Because a lot of games aren't getting any press, and that's why I like throwing those out. So
No, it seems like the media only wants us to see certain games, and I'm sorry, but 75% of them are absolute
a
garbage.
lot of them are.
Like really, majority of the games that we're forced to look at all the time are shit. And then the games I come across that I find on my own or through the good luck of my friends are amazing. And I'm like, why don't people know about
No,
this?
I agree with
Like,
you. There are a lot of games I will never pre-order, but then there are some, like if I see a game by a developer who seems passionate and they've done good work, I'm going to be like, you know what, I'm going to consider giving this a little pledge. So I have no
oh
problem
yeah.
doing early access for things like the Isle or that sort of thing. But if it's just some random bullshit like that, there's another one on Steam called Wolf Simulator, to give you an example. And I would love for there to be a great Wolf Simulator game. There already is one called Wolf Quest, but I'd love for there to be more. Why not? I enjoy Wolf Quest. Shake and I were playing it just the other day. Um, but yeah, I'm all for another game like that coming out, but I'm not going to give that game money because I don't know the history of that developer. It doesn't look like they've really put as much blood, sweat, and tears into it, and I don't know if it's going to
Yeah.
flop. Um, like I think Bear Simulator either flopped or it got abandoned. And then there was
Jesus.
Ant Simulator, which looked so beautiful, and I so wanted that game to go forward. And then apparently the developers involved had a huge spat. Two of them stole crap and went away. The other one says that anyway, and then they're saying something about him. So this whole company just got ruined, and Ant Simulator will never happen, which could have been a great. It could have been a great evolution of SimAnt, which was one of my favorite games ever. I know I've mentioned it before, but SimAnt, I loved it. Um, so yeah, I won't give money to certain projects, but I will to others at early.
Well, I know you gave money to Friday the 13th,
I did. I gave a lot of money.
which yeah, which I plan on doing so too because it's a game that seems worth it and I don't pre-order things. I don't back anything. because I'm skeptical of majority of the garbage out there. But Friday the 13th is the first thing I've seen in a long time where I'm like, you know what? I want to put my money here.
And I'll tell you
Like
exactly what I
I'm
bought.
excited.
I bought the PS4 and the PC versions because they were both $30 a piece, and then
That's not bad.
I bought the little DLC pack that came with it, like for the clothing options for the counselors. Because I'm like, you know what? I want that. I will have fun with that. So I bought that as well, and that's what I bought for the Friday the 13th games.
Yep, that's an exciting one. That's one that I think is worth pre-ordering and putting some money into.
Absolutely, those guys are definitely passionate, and I'm looking forward. And every 2 weeks they release something new in their cabin. They've got the
Yes.
flirty girl model now in the cabin with the other counselors they've released, and they've also got a new item room, which I need to finish watching that video. I started watching one of the videos the other day, and I haven't finished that one. But yeah, it just looks beautiful. Everything they're putting into this game just makes me so excited. I can't wait for them to, announce a release date and go forward.
I have some news for you. You probably already know about it. Because we had talked a few times here on the podcast about Gawker.
Yes, and I know exactly what you're going to say.
I was excited when I read it. I read this. I read this morning because it popped up on my news feed. They're getting shut down next week.
Yeah, they are.
They've been bought out.
Yeah, they were bought by Univision, and
Yep.
so they've been given their notice. They are going to be, well, it was mostly Univision bought the other sites that Gawker owned. Like
Yeah.
in the video game world, Kotaku, that website is owned or was owned by Gawker. Now it belongs to the Univision Group. Jezebel.com now belongs to the Univision Group. So all of Gawker's stuff is now belonging to Univision, who was one of their competitors for that type of market. So, I mean, you're still going to have your BuzzFeeds and all this other garbage, but you know what? It's a little cleaner without Gawker in the world. Gawker, which I know I've said on here before, it was just such a stain. Like it's, and there, I don't even. Somebody was saying how this was like millennial journalism. I'm like, that's not millennial journalism. That's
No, they're
overglorified bloggers.
it's just trash. Like it's I mean if you're okay with trash, then that's if that's for you, but I don't want trash. Gawker's trash.
It is Hulk
Like,
Hogan's one of Hulk Hogan's greatest matches, and it will go down as like it was almost as big as when he slammed Andre.
oh my
And
god.
it gave me one last chance to cheer for Hogan, one last moment because I used to cheer for him as a kid all the time, and I think that should be the next Rocky movie. Rocky sues Gawker and takes out a
Rocky's
website.
just can you imagine Rocky? Like just looking at them, Gawker.
Gawker, I
It
did
wouldn't
it.
go well. I think we should just keep Hulk Hogan. Like just let him take care of it. Rocky's past that right now.
Yeah,
Stallone can't handle this.
forced alone.
But I thought you'd be interested in
Oh
hearing
yeah,
that.
yeah. Their days are now numbered. I think they've got a week left.
Yep, yeah, exactly a week. As of today.
Yeah, as of today. So they'll be gone by next Thursday, around the same time I imagine as BioWare's forums will be gone. So
Oh yeah, those are going the way of the
yeah.
dodo too.
So are they getting rid of these forums because they're worried about the feedback they're going to get on this Andromeda game? I don't want to be
I
I don't want to be
uh,
pessimistic. I want this game to be good because I love Mass Effect. But
I have the feeling that with the forum shutting down, I don't think the game's gonna happen.
oh my God,
I don't know. I have that feeling in my stomach that they're shutting it down so they can limit where they're getting all the backlash from.
I think they just want like yeah, I think they want to control how they look at, feedback because now they can choose whether or not they want to ignore it or not because like you can ignore tweets, you can ignore Reddit, you can ignore any of these other places these guys are going to go. But
Right.
they're also shutting down the tech forums. Like where you go to report problems with your game.
Exactly, and that's making me think like I'm believing in the pit of my stomach that Andromeda is not going to happen, and I think they know that when and if, because I can't confirm that they're going to do that, but when and if they do that, people are going to lose their fucking minds. People are going to be bullshit about it.
I think the worst case scenario is going to be more like EA is going to force them to launch it because I can't see EA allowing them to drop this bomb because EA knows Mass Effect is going to sell. Now, what's important to pay attention to is as we near the release of Andromeda, pay attention to whether or not they ever release gameplay, and not only that, if they ever allow other people to test the game. Because if they don't, then you know this game is probably going to be trash. And because think about it, you're only a few months away from possible release. All we've gotten is a single trailer. We got a fucking trailer. We haven't seen gameplay. We haven't seen
Nope.
anything of substance. We don't really know much about the story. I mean, we don't really know what the
They showed us like a little bit of landscapes every now and then. Like we saw some landscape stuff, but we didn't like we haven't seen anything new in a long time.
and I wish that I mean they've got these great IPs. They've got Mass Effect, which is just a tremendous IP. They've got Jade Empire, which has now been sitting around for 11 years with nobody touching it. I wish they had just sold off Jade Empire to another company and say, "Hey, can you guys do something with this?"
You told me about that one a few times. I gotta grab that
That
at some
is, to
point.
this day, it's my favorite BioWare IP. I loved that game. That game just made me so happy. And instead of concentrating on that game, they decided we're going to make Dragon Age games.
Those went well.
You know,
Like I loved the first one. I can't. It's not a game that held up over the years for
it
me.
really
I
isn't.
can't. I can't. And I haven't even played the second or the third one. Not that I'm in any rush to, but I tried going back to the first Dragon Age, and I still loved all the character interaction and like that part of it, but I did not like dealing with like the fights and stuff. It felt like a chore. Everything felt very weird to me. I couldn't play it anymore.
Yeah, the first time I played it, loved it. I haven't been able to really finish a playthrough since then, and it nowadays
Yeah, neither have
it's
I.
very dated. I agree, but at the time it released, it was a phenomenal game.
Oh,
So
it was
I'm not
awesome.
going to knock that game because it was like when it got released, it was amazing. So you can't really judge it now because it's aged. It has. But yeah, I mean that just happens. Like KOTOR has aged, but
Yeah.
when it released, in my opinion, still the greatest console game I ever played. Jade Empire has certainly aged, but it was a phenomenal game when it released. Now, Dragon Age 2 and Dragon Age Inquisition, I'll let everybody has their opinion about it. I've made mine very known that I don't care for Dragon Age Inquisition, but everybody's entitled to their own opinion on that. And that has nothing to do with age. I mean, it looks fine. It looks like a really pretty game, but it just wasn't very fun, in my opinion. Um, so yeah, I mean, meanwhile, the stories in Jade Empire and KOTOR are just phenomenal. So
Yeah, I just think I got this sick feeling that either Andromeda won't happen, or maybe you're right. EA will be like, "Listen, you don't have a choice. This needs to fucking happen."
and I
Like
mean,
this, like you can't turn your back on this. People are
and if
waiting.
it doesn't happen or if it comes out in this shit, okay, at least we might get these remasters, and at least that might be decent, and that'll be something nice for Mass Effect.
I
Because
think honestly, I think we're pretty much guaranteed Mass Effect remasters
I kind of get the feeling
because
like we're in the last days of BioWare. Like they're
yeah,
I don't even give a crap about the company anymore. I'm just kind of like, and it's so sad because I used to think of these guys as my favorite developer. And now I'm just thinking if you screw up Mass Effect, I'm done with you. Just make an okay game. Don't even it doesn't have to be good. It just has to be okay. Just make something that I can get into and just have my own
right.
fun with. Don't even care. Doesn't have to be amazing. I know it's not going to be amazing, but
But no, I had already resigned myself to the fact that this is not going to be an amazing game. Like I was okay with that.
just fun. Just make it fun. If it's fun and it has a stupid story, I can forgive that. Just make it fun. That's all you have
Right.
to do. And just copy your old system for Mass Effect 3. Use the same fucking interface. Do whatever. Just add new stuff
Yeah, I could deal with that.
because it would just be like an expansion. I'm cool with that.
Yep,
But
I be would be fine with that. I don't think that any of that's gonna happen though, because what they're doing, like they're just taking very ominous, weird steps to me.
everything they've
I
done has been questionable. And like
Yeah, and it's like I'm like, I'm
they've
uncomfortable.
been
Like,
the people have been quitting the company. They now
yeah,
they're shutting down the forums. They're not showing up at Gamescom. I mean, when is the next convention? I don't even know. So I don't know. Whenever they're going to show stuff, maybe they'll show it, but they're not going to have a forum so people can talk about it. Forum has shut down the hype machine. I don't know what they're doing.
shutting down tech forums too. Jesus.
I know, but like I was saying the other day, like I always go to a forum a month before a release, and I usually go there every day so I can help build hype, and I can like read other people's hype, and it makes me more hyped, and then I get more and more excited, and then I stop going. But they're shutting it down now. the hell is wrong with
I
you?
think it's on purpose.
I think so too. I think this is very carefully crafted.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not careful. I mean, because we were all watching it happen. We're like, really? Like, see us, see you. Like, we know what's going on.
And that's the worst part is that the truth is probably much less insane than what we're making it out to be. But what else are we to think? They released that ridiculous
Right.
statement.
It could be nothing. Like, it could be, they could have some dumbass reason for it that they think is justified, but I'll still think it's stupid. But, like, my brain goes to, okay, well, you're doing this because chances are this game's not going to fucking happen.
I mean,
Like that's what I think right away. I'm like, you're telling me the game's not gonna happen. Like, why there? I don't see a reason. Because the reason they gave for shutting down forums is not a reason to
no,
me.
we went into it last week or the
Yeah,
week
I know.
before.
It just doesn't make sense. There's something weird going on. There's a shark in the water. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Another game on
But
sale is Depth. I want to throw that out as we're wrapping up here, but Depth is on sale on Steam, 75% off.
you guys should get it. We just played it again last week, and they've done a lot of updates to
Hmm.
it, and it was really
It
fun.
was a lot of fun. Like,
I had a good time. Like, I was skeptical. I'm like, oh, I remember playing this. It was a good time, but it was really fun. Not a good shark. Was not meant to be a shark in any life, but yeah,
like if
it's a
you get
fun
in there
game.
with people who know what they're doing with those sharks, it can be very scary and it's a lot of fun. It's even more fun now than it was when I first played it. So,
Yeah, I'd agree. It's a good time. It's a fun. It's not an expensive game either. It's pretty cheap. But it's a good time. You can play with your
and
friends. It's
for
pretty. There's always
75%
people
off,
on
it's
there,
even more cheap now. So,
right? Like, I don't even know how much it is regularly,
yeah, it's
but
probably only a couple of dollars now, maybe five or so
yeah.
dollars. So it's worth it.
$5 to be a shark or a diver and kill each other. Come on, guys. You gotta get The Last of Us. You gotta get depth, but more importantly, get the
I
Isle.
agree.
Just like that should be number one. The Last of Us. Everyone loves that game. You can get it. You'll realize you love it. But get the Isle, and depth's really fun. I really did. We also played Who's Your Daddy,
Oh yeah, we did.
which, mind you, okay, I need to say
We
something
need to
here,
go into
people.
this real fast.
I did not know what the fuck this game was.
I did.
I had never seen it. Nothing. Like, I had not. I didn't know this game, and Raz was like, "Oh yeah, I'll pick it up for you. We'll play it for a little bit." And I get in as a baby, and I'm like eating batteries and drinking bleach and eating dog shit, and like it's just a baby going against a dad trying to kill themselves, and the game is so rigged for that baby to win that we just gave up and turned it into a game of hide and seek, which ended up being really entertaining. Like, I enjoyed playing hide and seek in that game, so it's a great hide and seek game. But it's so rigged for that baby to win.
Yeah,
Unless, like, the dad carries that baby around upside down the whole time.
but I think if it had more maps, it would be even better. But it only has like the one map right now. But it was fun for what it was. We had fun with it. But it's definitely not a game to play unless you have somebody to play it with. Because
It's
otherwise,
probably also good when drinking. It's a
yeah.
good game to play when you're drinking
And
because it's
someone will
ridiculous.
probably make a Gary's Mod version of it that's even better. So
Yeah,
that's the
which
thing.
playing that game like deeply inspired me to start setting up a Gary's Mod server again because I loved Gary's Mod. I still love Gary's Mod. I just haven't had access to it. So that'll be featured more heavily in the streams going forward because I'm gonna be getting that back. That's gonna be a fucking nightmare. Dealing with me and Prop Hunt just cheating my ass off because I'm just a cheater.
Well, I think we have sufficiently crapped on a lot of games today and praised others.
I think we've done good today. We had a lot to say today.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we had a lot to get off of our chest. I mean, I was gonna bring up some other stuff,
We gotta save
but
some stuff for next week too.
are the Olympics still gonna be happening next
No, they're
week?
gonna be over. So if
Well,
there's
then
anything Olympic, we need to go over it today.
I just wanted to mention the stupid fucking swimmers.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like you tweeted about this and you were thinking the same thing I was thinking. Is that what you tweeted about?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
if
you tweeted about
like
this stupid shit.
here's my understanding of this story, okay? This is my understanding of it based on what we know now.
Yep.
Four US swimmers went out, had a party with some people at one of these Olympic buildings or whatever. They had a party for a birthday or something. These four US swimmers then leave the party, get into a cab, they go to a gas station, they go to the bathroom, vandalize the bathroom. They
Yeah.
go outside, they pee on the walls. They piss all over the walls. The owner of this
Jesus
gas
fuck.
station is irate, and rightfully so. And he's like, guys, you're going to pay for this shit. And they're like, we ain't paying for shit. And so he gets like a security guard involved. And
Yeah, because he pulled a gun on the swimmers because
right.
he was like, you need
And,
to get the
and
hell
that's
out
an
of here.
important thing to bring up because of what happens later. But then they try to leave, like with the cab. And the cab driver's like, no, we're not going anywhere because they're calling the police. And this ain't a giveaway car, you know?
Yeah, he's like, I'm not a part of this. Like, I am in the right here, you
Now,
psycho.
now, eventually they do pull the gun on them. The security guard did. I don't know. I think he might have gotten the money from them at that point, and then they left. 2 days later, these fucking swimmers then file a false police report stating they were armed, or no, they were robbed at gunpoint by people posing as police officers. Then one of these assholes goes back to the U.S. The other three are still there.
Yeah.
And so while he's in the US, the other three are still there. The police are looking into this and they're like, this doesn't make a lot of sense. And suddenly, like, this story's blowing up because it's like all over the US. Like, they're talking about how the US swimmers got robbed in Rio, which is well known for crime. And so the
Right.
police,
They're making Rio look
I mean,
horrible
Rio,
by doing
to be
this.
fair, Rio's crime
Well, yeah,
situation.
but still, they're not
Right.
providing anything good for
Exactly.
yeah,
And that's what I
yeah.
think they were taking advantage of. And so the police, like, here's the thing, like, this is becoming an international story. So obviously the police are going to take it very seriously. So they look into it. They find out these claims are kind of bullshit. So they're like, okay, we got to get these guys back in here for questioning. So they go to get these swimmers. They're not in their hotel room. They find out they're on a plane trying to leave. And so they pull them off the plane, take their passports, bring them back to the police station. Well, apparently now these fucking swimmers are saying the guy who left for the US pretty much encouraged them all to fabricate this story. And I'm sitting here like, you assholes are supposed to be ambassadors of the United States when you're in this other country, and you're making us all look like arrogant dicks, which, by the way, is already a bad stereotype of our country. Like, you guys can't fucking wait till you get back home before you act like assholes. This is not you don't just go to a fucking country, you're a visitor there, and go wreck somebody's store and then file a false. I don't know what the laws are like in Rio, but up here, if you file a false police report, that's a serious crime. And I
Yeah.
think they should be held to
I
the.
would assume it's of a similar offense
I
there.
would assume so, and I think that they should.
Considering how seriously they were taking it. I mean, they stopped him like, you're not getting on this fucking plane.
But I'm just going to finish
Like
my part by
get
saying
back
that
here.
they should be held to the full extent of the law in Rio, and that as far as I'm concerned, the police there should have the right to prosecute them, take them to whatever court system they have, and they need to face the consequences. As far as I'm concerned, they should also deport this asshole who came back to the United States who is a part of this. But I don't think they will.
Absolutely.
But I think they should, and they should be held accountable because you don't do this shit. I'd rather them not be on the team than winning all these medals if this is how they're going to fucking behave outside of the Olympic Games. The Olympic Games are about more than just the fucking sport. It's about the spirit of the games, it's about the whole country and the world coming together and
Right.
competing in good faith. And you guys go around getting drunk, pissing on walls, vandalizing property. I have no respect for this. These guys are morons. And
And then they turn around and they're like, oh yeah, that guy back home, he encouraged us to do this. You are fucking adults. You are grown ass men. I was like, you know the difference between right and wrong. You shouldn't have done any of this in the first place. Like you are representing your country and you're pissing on walls.
I've been drunk many
Like,
times, but I've never vandalized property while I was drunk.
nope, I can't say I have either.
So that's not an excuse. These idiots. I mean,
No, I think they were being pompous assholes.
yes, they
Like that
were.
was that's it. They're just like, oh, look at me. I'm an American Olympian. Look at me go. And like that's exactly what they did. There is no other reason for it. But there's no reason for them to act like that. And there's no excuse.
There really isn't, and I'm absolutely embarrassed by it. I'm like, these idiots. I want to disown them. I want to be like, you guys no longer represent the U.S. Swim team or whatever. Like the International Olympic Committee rep got up there and said, well, they're young and young people will be
Yeah,
young.
I was gonna say
And I'm
that.
like, dude, no, this
They're young. They make mistakes. Let it go. And it's like, what are you talking about?
this is somebody's property. This is another country. You're a visitor. You're a guest. Conduct yourself like a human being. But you didn't do that. You broke laws. You vandalized. You filed false police reports. You should be held accountable for that. And as far as I'm concerned, Brazil can do whatever the fuck they want to with you. Because frankly, this is absolutely embarrassing. This whole situation, as far as I'm concerned, the U.S. needs to owe them an apology. President Obama should sign a letter of apology, send it down to Rio, and that should be the end of it.
That was a government official from there. I don't know their name was saying that like they're like this makes us look bad. This makes us look really
Yes, it
bad.
does.
And I was like absolutely. And they're like an apology would be greatly accepted. They're asking us in the nicest way to apologize to them
And that is
for
a
what's
very
happened.
simple thing to do for
Yeah,
something that
it's
they
not
deserve.
hard to say sorry. Like you need to apologize for that
I mean,
because you caused a big fucking stir up
it's
over this
basically it's
shit.
like hosting a party and having somebody come over to your house, vandalizing the property, and then saying later, dudes. I mean
Yeah.
and it's such. And they were like, no, we're not going to pay because we're self-entitled little pricks who think we can get away with this shit.
Well, that's like the guy standing there saying, "Oh, they're young, we got to let this go." Let me tell you something. It doesn't even matter at this point if they are Olympians, if they're from the U.S. If that man's children pulled this shit, would he turn around and say, "Well, they're young. It happens." No, if that was your kid, you'd beat the shit out of them. They would be grounded for the rest of their lives. You would think about disowning your child. You'd leave them at a police station. Like you'd be like, I can't anymore. But these assholes get oh, well,
Yeah.
they're young. What are you gonna do? And I'm like, these are full grown men. These are adults. There's no reason for this.
Being on the Olympic team should be an honor, and they're throwing it
Absolutely.
down the toilet. But it actually reminds me of that other guy who went to Korea. He wasn't an Olympian. Who was in Korea, did vandalism, and the Korean authorities arrested him. And you know what that guy's doing now? Hard labor in a labor camp. You know why? Because he went to a dictatorship and broke the law. What kind of
I mean, I'm
moron
sorry.
goes
You
to
have
North
it coming,
Korea?
sir.
You go to North Korea and break the law. Are you out of your mind?
I mean, I'm not going to North Korea at all, but if I go there, I'm going to be very careful. Like, I'm going to be so
I'm the
careful. You
same
have
way.
no
There's
idea.
you couldn't get me to go to North Korea.
No, you couldn't get me there, but if I end up somehow, some way in North Korea, I am the politest person. Like, I'm going to be like, oh, well, yep, thank you, please. Yep, I'll do whatever you need me to do. Because, hell, you break the law in North Korea, you're probably stuck there the rest of your damn
Yeah,
life.
and I think he will be because of that stupid. Like you go there, you just fucking do vandalism. Are you out of your mind? I don't even know what to say to that. Morons, people who are
It
way
doesn't.
too entitled and way too moronic.
It doesn't make sense. But when I had heard about them saying, well, they're just young, I was like, what? I was like, you gotta be shitting me, right? This is really what we're saying now?
And
This is what we're
I think
doing?
it's still a developing story. But the fact that they've already
Oh,
come
yeah,
out
it's
and
not
said
over yet.
they've said that it was a fabricated story now. So, at this point, I'm like, okay, what the hell is wrong with you? Because either you're lying about this or you were lying about that. It's one or the other, and you look like an idiot either way.
Regardless, you still look like an asshole for the rest of your life. And this was news everywhere.
Hmm.
Everyone's gonna remember your names. Everyone's gonna remember your faces. Like, people are gonna see you and be like, oh,
So, the one guy who
I
came back to the
remember.
U.S., he is the second most decorated U.S. swimmer. You know who the first most is, who isn't involved in this at all? That would be Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps,
Yeah.
who isn't involved in this. Instead, he was probably
Michael Phelps, the
he
dream.
was probably conducting himself the way that most Olympians do and just having a good time instead of vandalizing property. But yeah, I was listening to an interview of him the other day when he was really young before he did any Olympics, and he was basically just saying how he was looking forward to having some fun. He would love the idea of one day being a world champion. I was,
Well, wow, Michael.
uh,
Congratulations. You've lived up to your childhood
I
dreams.
would say so, and some. So
The one thing I wanted to end on that also has to do with the Olympics is the 2022 Winter Olympics.
okay.
Almost every country has backed out of doing it. There is only two countries left. I don't even know which ones anymore. I just read about this too. But it's the last Olympics they did cost $6.2 billion to run.
Yeah.
Countries can't afford to do the Olympics anymore.
I guess they're not.
And they don't feel that there's enough, that they don't actually receive enough back from it for it to be worth it. to even do it anymore. But I can't remember the names of the countries, and I really should, because I read it like 3 times. But these two countries that are left for the Winter Olympics are not democratically sound. Like they've got a lot of issues, and they don't really want the Olympics in those places. But those are the only two countries that are willing to do it. I don't remember which ones they are, but I thought it was interesting that the Olympics are $6.2 billion, and they expect a country to pay that to run this thing that doesn't seem to generate enough
Well,
for them to even, you know, do it.
it's the next one in Russia, or where's the next one at? 2018. We've got
Oh, I don't know where
somewhere.
that one is. I want
Or
to
have
look
we
and
already
see
had
now.
the Russian Olympics? I don't even know.
They're Russian Olympics.
That's how much I'm keeping up with this right now. Maybe we've already had these, and I just am really bad at keeping score on the Winter Olympics.
Yeah, where is this?
But yeah, I guess it doesn't.
Yeah, they're saying I don't know. They're like when I go on the Wikipedia,
Oh, well, don't look
it's
at the
saying
Wikipedia.
no. When I look on the Wikipedia, it just says Beijing. Like it, like because they say Beijing will become the first city to host both the Summer and Winter Olympics, but they weren't on that list.
Well, this says uh
Oh, because
Pyeongchang. I'm not
it
even
was
saying that right.
it was between China and Kazakhstan.
Well, then this must be China, correct?
Yeah.
You know what? China did a good job with 2008. So that's cool. That's actually fine with me. I remember the 2008 games pretty well. Though I think the last truly great games were the 2004 games, but that's a subject for another day.
But to think that so many people just didn't want to host the Olympics, like, no, we're good. We don't have the
We're
money for that
done.
anymore. Like,
You
we're
know,
done. Take it. Take it.
Atlanta. We had it once. We had a ball with it. We still have our Olympic Village and stuff. It's a fun time.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Yeah, Boston didn't get it.
No, Boston didn't.
I don't think we need it. We're
I
good.
think most of Boston is
We don't.
happy. So
You know what though? Yeah, if we had it, there would be riots. Like the city would freak out because we don't have the room for the Olympics in the city of Boston. Like we're already congested and we already hate everything. If you put the Olympics in our city and clog up our traffic any more than it already is, we're gonna kill somebody. Like we're gonna be like, no, the Olympics can't happen here. So that wasn't because I remember I was talking about that at work with people, and it was we were like, yeah, pretty okay with that not happening here. We couldn't handle it. But I think it's interesting because I actually always enjoy the Winter Olympics more. I actually watch the Winter Olympics because I'm not a big fan of the Summer
I
Olympics.
used to really get into the summer ones. I haven't really watched the last two ones, so I didn't watch much of 2012 or 2016 this year. Um,
I've watched a little bit of the gymnastics, but that's
well,
about all.
well, I used to love the gymnastics. In fact, I am one of the biggest gymnastics fans out there. I could quote crap from like the 50s, 60s, the biggest stars from the 70s, and so on. And in fact, at
Jesus.
one time, I even someone challenged me one time to name all of the all around Olympic champions from the 1950s to present day. I actually managed to do it with one that I got wrong. And so, yeah, I'm a big gymnastics fan, but I'm going to be honest. After 2004, I haven't been as big of a fan. I felt like 2004 was the last truly great gymnastics competition. And that was between Carly Patterson and Svetlana Korkina. And that head to head was amazing. Ever since then, I felt like it's been a U.S. dominant sport. And even though you have other countries out there like China and such, most of the great countries of the past, like Romania, Russia, they've really been slipping. Now, I haven't watched the 2016 games. If I were to guess, I would say more than likely America probably dominated everything, and that was that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so I haven't even seen it, and I'm just guessing because I just feel like the United States is on a whole other level now. And that used to be fine when the Soviet Union was doing that. It was fine because there was always another country ready to challenge them. I mean, you had Romania ever since the 70s that was constantly attacking the Soviet Union. I remember 1988, the all-around championship between the two girls. I think it was Daniela Silivas and, oh my God, I can't remember the name of the Russian who actually won. But the two of them were going head-to-head, back and forth. That one was a very exciting all-around. And obviously, Mary Lou in 84 up against Ekaterina Szabo. Fantastic. 92 was okay, but I felt like Shannon Miller was robbed. I felt like she actually won that year, but that's a whole other story. 96, in my opinion, the greatest all-around champion, Lilia Podkovieva, who won in Atlanta, Georgia, and was certainly the most loved of all of the all-around champions, simply because of how the Soviet Union had broken apart into many different teams, and so she won for Ukraine. I'm going to stop talking about this now.
You get so excited about, like, I love it. I
Except
love
for 2000 with Andrea Raducan, who, in my opinion, is still the winner because Romania had a sweep at the podium, gold, silver, and bronze. Screw that pseudo-Fedrin bullshit they tried to bring up to disqualify her because she is still the champion in my book. So I'm going to stop talking. But my point is this. Ever since 2004, I have not been as in love with gymnastics. And as you can tell, I love gymnastics, but I have not loved it as much ever since 2004. They changed the 10. They don't have the 10-point system anymore. If they do, maybe they have it now. I don't know. Maybe they changed it back finally. But without the 10-point system, it was like, who cares? I don't know. I don't know. I need to stop.
I'm excited for winter though. Winter Olympics is gonna be good.
I like figure skating.
Yep, that's my shit. Like, figure skating is my shit.
And I know you like hockey.
Yep, so, hockey, woo! Anything on the ice, give it to me.
I thought that speed skating was kind of fun to watch when I first watched that.
Yeah, it is fun. It's cool stuff. I don't know. I just think winter is a bit more. I don't know. I'm more into it. Like, it feels more intense for me.
Yeah.
Like, I like the Winter Olympics more. Summer Olympics, I'm bored. Like, I can only watch someone swim for so fucking long. I can only watch basketball for so long. Like, I don't care. Like, Winter Olympics, yeah, I'm all about it. It's better for me. But anyway, people, we're gonna wrap there. We actually went long today. So, yeah, we did that. We talked a lot about games, got some stuff out there, touched up on some Olympic stuff that's pissing me off, and obviously pissing Razzle off, too. But thank you guys for tuning in. You can email us at theproudcast@gmail.com. Leave us a message at speakpipe.com/theproudcast. Our Twitter is also the Proudcast. You can find the episodes on YouTube. They get uploaded every week. Our personal Twitter accounts are at ShakeZillaTV and at Razzle_Dazzles. You can find us both on Twitch.tv under the same names. We stream together every Friday or Saturday at about 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Currently still working on Saints Row 4. I think we're doing some Star Wars DLC this weekend, yeah?
Well, yes, Star Wars Battlefront DLC is what we're planning to do. Yes.
What we're planning to do, people. It's happening. We're going to try to make it work. But that's all we got for you. We'll see you next week, probably with more aisle updates and a bunch of other bullshit. We'll see what happens with this Olympic story and stuff. We'll see where this goes. See you later.